Coach Mata, I can't make you host. I have your slides. Did you change it? Okay. Okay, I've been able to make you co-host. I've been able to make you co-host. That's fine.
All right, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the call. Thank you so much. And thank you, Finance Coach, for the wonderful session that we just rounded up. Thank you so much, Ma. God bless you and your team. This afternoon, I'm privileged to be sharing with us one of the key aspects that we need to be mindful of as we, make money. So good afternoon once again, everyone. My name is Toluwalope Martha Jesuleke, and I'll be speaking on essential study tips for academic success. I don't know if anyone can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me.
We can hear you. We can see you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is your slide full? Yeah, they say loud and clear. Your slides, great. Are you showing the full?
Yes, I am. How about now, Ma? Is it showing well?
It's showing. I'm just not sure if it's I think it's not the full page yet. You have to click on that screen, that like a television. We can see
it's showing the full page now.
Okay. Just go on.
All right. So this afternoon, Jesuleke. So for the students on the call who would like to look out for me on social media, you can search with the Resilient Educator Jesuleke or Martha Jesuleke. Thank you very much. All right, without wasting time, this is 12:09 already. So the first thing on the screen, we are going to be doing an icebreaker, and one of the questions I would want to ask the audience today, we could use the chat box, we could use your hand raise button, because I want this class to be as engaging as possible. So the question says, when you think of success in school, what comes to your mind? Anyone? I would want someone to please raise his or her hand up to answer this question. Anyone? Okay, so I see 2 hands raised. Can we have if I'm not calling your name, well, please pardon me. So I'm saying Igokwe Kingsley. Can we have you? Okay, so I've allowed you to speak. Please go ahead. Can you unmute and speak? So I think you can speak now. Kindly unmute. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Ma. Can you hear me?
Oh, very well. Good afternoon. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Personally, what comes to my mind as regards success in school is gaining knowledge that could be practically applied to make lives better. So it goes beyond passing exams. If the knowledge that one used to pass exam cannot be applied in practical life to make lives better for himself and for others, then there's really no need for the knowledge.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kingsley. All right, so one more person I've unmuted, who's a blessing. Kindly unmute from your hand there and answer the question so that we'll have gender balance. So we've heard from a man. Let's hear from a lady too.
All right, ma'am. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, very loud and clear.
All right. When I think about What comes to my mind when I think of success in school, it means that the application of the knowledge I've gotten from school, maybe I studied law or I studied any course in my school, and when I graduate, the ability for me to apply it in my life and all around and be able to achieve something out of it. That is what means success in school.
Fantastic.
It's not just about writing exams, passing and graduating with first class and the rest, but it is when you start applying it in your life and it starts yielding results. That is what I understand by success in school. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that divination. Okay, so both of you have spoken well. Application of what you have studied, application of the knowledge you've gotten, and that's to you is success. Both answers are correct. All right, so you may lower your hand now. Thank you. Let's move. All right, so having said that, we are going to be moving to the next slide. And to do that, let's look at the screen. So we have the word success. So for so many people, we hear the word success and we feel, oh, success is having A's all through. Success is, oh, crushing your exams, crushing it, smashing the goals that you have written. However, success is not about working hard only, but working smart. A number of us want to study for exams, and we have all kinds of books, all kinds of resources at our beck and call, and at the end of the day, we write do well as we expected. We've put in so much energy giving the results that we are expecting. So that is to tell us that probably we are doing something wrong, or there's something we need to do to make the efforts to be worthwhile. And that is the word working smart. So we are going to be learning how to work smart, how to study smartly. And then to lead to that, we have good study habits, which leads to less stress and better results. So just a quick one. If you studying and at the end of the day, you discover that you're having a headache, there's fatigue, there's so much of weakness and all that, then it's to tell you that you're putting so much, there's so much on your brain that you are, filling those brain with, and it's telling on your body. So for us to say we are good or outstanding students, we need to learn how to study well. And to study well, we need to learn that it shouldn't come with excessive stress, and that's why we use the word less stress and better results. So the question on the screen says, have you ever studied all night, but still forgot everything in the exam hall? I'll be in the chat box. I want to see responses from people. So have you ever studied for exams and at the end of the day, you've just got to the exam hall and you forgot everything you wanted to? Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So I see Ade Digital will say yes. Okay, Rabi said no. Basil say it's frustrating. Someone Bright says yes. So and Akinloye, Jerry, yes. Okay, Akinloye say no. Akende Matthias say it's relatable. I for one have experienced that before. You had thought, oh, these are the questions the examiners are going to be asking, and you get to the exam hall and your head is just blank. Okay, so let me now go further to ask, what do you do in that situation? Yes, I'm in the chat box reading comment. Okay, Uzo Blessing says it only happens when I didn't get to see that. Okay, when I think, just 1 minute, it only happens. All right, I didn't see that. Someone says no, but I heard a number of my classmates share such experience. That's Kingsley. I did TDB. Jerry, I don't know what TDB means, but I would want you to please explain what TDB means, but I was blank. Okay, so maybe what you were trying to say is you did la cram la pour, where many of us cram all the topics and at the end of the day, the brain get clogged and you couldn't even remember. Thank you so much. I see the comment section bubbling. Without wasting time, let's move. All right. So the next thing we are going to be looking at is, then what does the term examination means to you? What does it mean? When you hear the word examination, what does it mean? Okay, so in life, there are so many types of examination, but in this context, we are talking about an exam that allows you show your ability in a particular subject so that you'll be able to obtain qualification on that subject matter. So on the call, please, I would like to reach out to check the chat box. I want to see the school that you have so that I can relate. I want to know if you're an undergraduate, if you are just a fresh secondary school graduate, or you are still in school. So I'll be in the chat box so that I will know how to ask the further questions that I'll be asking. So I'll be in the chat box. Okay. So someone says she is from University of Calabar. Oh, beautiful. Jesuleke is from Lagos State University. So we have Bayero University, secondary school fresh graduates. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. Ebonyi State University, Abakaliki. Interesting. Thank you. So believe you me, I want to believe that for those in the secondary schools who are just who have just graduated from secondary school, you did the general WAEC, West African examination, and you know, result came out, and then some of you feel, oh, the study pattern that you you did well, you expect, okay, so I'm seeing Federal University of Technology, Akure, thank you. And then you feel that, oh, I've studied so much, and the results came out interesting, really good. And whereas some even did exams, and the result they got wasn't encouraging at all. So the question is, we all do exams at a particular stage of our lives so that we can all obtain qualification. And so that is to tell you that in life, we cannot do without exams. And this man on the screen right in front of you, his name is Henry Fisher, an American businessman and philanthropist, invented examination. There are two key things I want to speak from this man. Recall, for some people, they say school is scam. So that's what we see on the internet these days. We say, oh, school is scam. But I tell people, why not in it? Look at this man that invented examination. He's a businessman and a philanthropist who believes that examination should be part of life. And just imagine that a man who invented examination, and we are still taking that examination till date, which means what he invented was something relatable, something sustainable, something people could relate with. So what are we saying in essence? For those of us that have friends who keep saying school is a scam, I think we begin to have a reorientation to life that what stands you out from the crowd is education. And you cannot get education without what? Studying. These days, thanks to internet, thanks to so many other developments that would not necessarily want you to be in the four walls of a classroom before you can acquire a certificate. So which means there is nobody in this life who is a student that will not be tested. So having said that, we are now going to look at how then do we set SMART goals. Don't forget that we are concentrating on, study habits that can give you excellent results. How do we set SMART goals? So the question on the screen, I will be asking a question, but before then, I'm sure some of you have heard the word SMART goals before. So I will be calling on some people on the screen to unmute and also tell us what they feel SMART goal is. So SMART goals, your goals must be specific. It must be measurable. It must be achievable. It must be realistic. It must be time bound. So I'm going to be calling one or two persons on the call to give me an example of a goal that is SMART. So please, if you want to answer that question, I will be looking out for those that want to respond to that question. So can you please give me an example of a SMART goal? Okay, so you can use an example. Thank God we have university students on the call. So just let me know, give me an example of what you think SMART goal is. I've not seen any hand raised. Anyone? Do we have anyone? Okay, so excellent grade. Okay, Godwin Shaku says SMART goal okay, scoring A's. Okay. What I mean is, give me an example of a SMART goal. All right, so Christy Ebibilem. So sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name well. So can you please go ahead to give us an example of a SMART goal. So, and I want you to be specific, use yourself as an example, what you're studying in the school, and give us an example of a SMART goal that you have set for yourself. Please go ahead and speak. Yes, Christy, you have the floor.
Okay, so it means achieving specific goals. Let's say in school, we achieve some specific SMART goals like getting high grade, achieving good grades. Thank you.
Okay, so recall that I said SMART goals means you must be specific. It must be measurable. So when you are using the word specific, you're going to tell me, you know, there are different grades levels. So if you're saying you having good grades, to some people, C is a good grade. To some people, B, they say, just let me have a B or let me have a D. I'm okay with it. So would you want to try again to like give us an example of, okay, just say, oh, I don't know the course you're studying at the moment. You could say, oh, in mathematics, I want to have A, and for the next semester, so you use that kind of example to set your SMART goal. So can I have Rabilu Yashar? You want to try? Please go ahead to speak. Yes, Saleh, you have the floor. Please go ahead to speak.
Good afternoon, ma.
Good afternoon. Please go
Hello.
ahead.
I think the SMART goal is like saying I'm determined to like graduate with first class or rather graduate with something not lower than 4.5, have right connection with my lecturers, and participate in student leadership. These are like the things that I think they are SMART goals, something that I can measure what I've done last year, what I'm determined to achieve next year.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rabilu, for that wonderful explanation. Thank you. So let's move ahead. Please mute your mic. Kindly mute your mic. All right, so I will show you examples of SMART goals and on SMART goals. So you will be the one to tell me which of this is a SMART goal and which one is not a SMART goal. But before then, I would like to ask this question. Who has written down an academic goal for the next section? So some schools are rounding up their academic section and they are preparing for the next section, while some secondary school students who are now fresh graduates are preparing for higher institution. So let me ask, has anyone on the call written? I will be at the comment section reading. Okay, someone says, I aim at becoming a chartered accountant and a master's holder before the age 26. Fantastic. That's awesome. All right. So I was saying that how many persons have written down their goals for the next academic section? All right. Okay, I've not seen, I have. Basil says he has. Fantastic. All right, Jesuleke, thank you so much. I see what you wrote. I aim at becoming a chartered accountant at the age of 26. So that age is your specific. You have given the age that you want to become a chartered accountant. Basil says, my SMART goal is to graduate as the best student in my senior secondary school with the result of 9 A's in the space of 6 months. Interesting. So that is an example of a SMART goal. You stated how many A's you wanted to have, the time frame, which is the duration, and then, however, you need to also include how you want to, achieve the goal. Probably you could say by putting in 2 hours daily or 5 hours daily into studying with relevant materials. So let's go ahead to look at the examples of the SMART goal. So look at the screen, everyone. We have by May 2026, I will achieve a minimum of 80% in mathematics, English, and physics in the WACS exam. So for instance, I'm addressing the secondary school students on the call because we understand that we have secondary school students on the call and also higher institution students. So just remove the WACS if that is not the level you have, and then fit in the level that you have by attending all classes, dedicating 2 hours daily to studying, and actively participating in a study group, thereby improving my understanding and performance in this subject. Let's look at the second one. It says, I want to improve my science grade. I will achieve a minimum of 80%. So this is for a student who is in science. However, you are going to put in your own subject base into what is on the screen. It says, I want to have a minimum of 80% in biology, chemistry, and physics in WACS exam by May 2025. Sorry, it's supposed to be 2026, by attending all classes, dedicating 2 hours daily to studying and actively participating in a study group. All right, so could you please use the chat box to tell me which of this goal is SMART? I'll be in the chat box reading comments. So which of this goal do you think is SMART enough? Anyone? Okay, Chrissy says she has to get good grades. Interesting. So from the 2 goals set on the Suremi says the second goal. Okay, so please be specific. Are you saying the second goal is not SMART or is SMART? Aditiji, are you saying the first one is SMART or is not SMART? So please, when you're putting the second goal or the first goal, specify which one is SMART. The one on the blue box is SMART. Okay. To achieve a specific goal, that's for the both. This Emmanuel says the second goal. All right. So why would you think the first or the second goal? Okay, Oyeleke says the second goal is SMART. Thank you. So let's go ahead to look at it. Remember, we say your goal must be SMART, specific. May 2026, that is specific. I want to achieve a minimum of 80%. You know, that's achievable goal. 80% where? In which subject? She was specific. Mathematics, English, and physics in WACS examination. How do you want to achieve it? By attending all classes and the time frame, dedicating 2 good hours, 2 solid hours. So if you look at the second one in the golden box, it says, I want to improve my science grades. I will achieve a minimum of 80% in biology, physics, and chemistry by May 2026, attending all classes, dedicating 2 hours, studying actively. That was vague. Studying actively, it's a vague word, you know. And why did I say it's a vague word? Look at the one on the blue, in the blue box. It says studying and actively participating in the study group, thereby improving my understanding. There is a goal for you studying and actively participating so that you can have understanding of what you are reading and performing in that high performance in that subject. So please, everyone on the call today, in life, not just in academics, I want you to begin to set SMART goals for yourself. Don't just say you have a goal. How smart is that goal? Do you have a time frame for the goal? How do you intend to achieve that goal? All right, let's move because of our time. So the next thing we're going to be habits. So what then do you need to do to create a study habit, a study routine? 1, identify, you have to prioritize your task by identifying your most challenging topics and subjects. You believe you me, some people on the call that don't like a particular subject. However, it is one of the most important subjects you must know, you must pass. To understand this difficult subject, it's going to be affecting your performance and also your promotion or your graduation for those in the university. So that's why you need to prioritize your tasks. For students, I always encourage that study more difficult subjects. Do not concentrate on subjects that are easy for you or topics that are easy for you to grasp. Subjects that are very difficult are those subjects you should prioritize. And that's why the word priority, which means on your timetable, when you have 2 subjects per day or 3 subjects per day, 3 times in a week, you want than the other subjects we are putting in. You should also take a break. So you don't just say you want to study. study. You know, if it's 45 minutes a day, ensure it is consistent. Thank God for our smartphones that can now set reminders. Whatever it is that you're doing at that time, you already know that once it's a particular time, you have to study. And also you need to consider your energy level. How do I mean by that? When you allocate time, you don't want to go worry yourself, do all kinds of activities, and when it's time for your study, you are tired. Fatigue sets in and you just want to sleep. And that's why I say, always consider your energy. So when it's almost time for your study, ensure that you are well rested. You have rested. The brain is, you know, has rested and it's ready to take in any knowledge that you are putting into it. And then lastly, you are going to take a break. You don't want to break down. You don't want to have issues, illnesses. And that's why you can't just say, oh, you want to read 24/7. There is a time for everything. And that's why you need to take a break. If you're going to spend 2 hours in a day, break it down. Do what works for you. Ensure that you are not just, you know, once you start studying and you see that you are not really remembering everything you've studied, you all just need to take a break from what you are studying. And this is very, very important. So, and I want to believe that everyone on this call can hear me. So if you can hear me, please go to the chat box, and if you're following, go to the chat box, tell me I'm following. So please let me know that I'm speaking and people are not lost. So I'm in the chat box reading comments. All right. So thank you, Christy says set. Also have a timetable that helps. Oh, thank you, Jesuleke. Thank you, Basil, Igbokwe, Bright, Sunday, Dami. Thank you, Amos, Jerry. Thank you, everyone. So it shows that we are following. So without wasting time, let's proceed to the next thing on the slide. So having said that, you need to prioritize your time, you need to take a break, you need to allocate time for yourself, then you need to now do what is called active learning techniques. What then is active learning technique? You don't just read just read for reading's sake. You must engage with the materials that you are using. Number one, summarize. So for some students, they feel, oh, this topic is too cumbersome. There's so much to grasp within the shortest time. One thing that would help you is summary. Make a summary of things that you have been taught. And most times for students that mix lectures, I want to believe that there are no students on the call that doesn't attend classes. Because sometimes those key words that lecturers, you know, deliver during their classes are some of those things that you end up seeing come out in exam. I was with one of my nieces recently, and she was saying, oh, ma, I'm tired of this lecturer. Whatever it is that she has, that the man has, it doesn't come from the material, the course material that he has sold to us. And I'm like, do you attend classes? Do you jot down when the man is saying it? He said, sometimes it's not even relevant to what he's supposed to. I said, okay, but somehow you will begin to pick points from what the man is saying. So you need to distill complex information by putting it into concise notes. Key words, which are very important, that when you see them, you can easily remember those topics that you have read, and then it will come back to your memory, and then you'll be able to answer the question. The second one is self-test. Quiz yourself on key terms and concepts. You know, some of us, we make use of past questions. I already have answers at the back. And then when we are studying, we are tempted to go back to check for answers. I don't know if any of you have done that before. I have been in that shoe before. You know, I don't want to fail anything. That way, you are not being realistic. You know, once there is a past question, ensure that you do those questions without checking the answers first. And when you are done, you can now mark those questions and then assess yourself how well you've been able to do on that particular topic or subject. Identify areas where you need to practice more. So of course, not all topics will come complex. Some will be simple, some will be hard. The third one is to elaborate. How do I mean by that? You need to connect new information to previous knowledge. So how do you connect? You can do a mind map. So for instance, you have a particular topic, then you start drawing arrows to the keywords you need to remember when questions are being said in this particular on this topic or subject area. So you need to elaborate the information you've learned. Then lastly, active learning. By one, discussing with peers. I don't know how many of us, how many of you use group work, or group work works for you best when you are studying? Anyone on the call? I will be in the chat box. I want to see whether Any one of you here study with by you know, group in group, or you don't study at all? Okay, so let me go through the chat box and see comments. Okay, Adediji says group work works for her. Fetia says group work was. Rose too says yes, group discussion. Jerry, I have my group. Good, interesting. And I want to believe that, yes, I want to believe that those groups that you have, they are people of like minds. They are people that you have things in common, because you wouldn't want to have people in your group that when it's time for study, they want to play, or they want to listen to music, or they want to watch TikToks. You know, there are a lot of things now that can easily distract every one of us. And if you're not intentional about what you do and how you study, you will see that you may not achieve your results. Group work helps in, you know, you may not be only able to study it alone, but when you do a group work, you share the topics, you see that you can cover up so much within the space of time. So group work is something that I would encourage. If anyone has not tried it out, try it out and you begin to see results. Then we move to note-taking skills. Note-taking skills. We are still on things that would help you to have good grades, to pass and perform better academically. One, underline. So make use of underlines when you are identifying keywords that you want to remember. And there's this highlighter, there's this marker that you can use. Is your notes. You're not submitting for university students, you're not submitting notes to lecturers. Or do we have anyone on the call whose lecturers are always requesting for notes? So, but for even on that, as secondary school students, if you are using an highlighter, I don't think there's any teacher that will blame you for identifying keywords that you need to study. All right, so having said that, you also need to emphasize important concepts. Don't forget the word underline. The second one, annotate. Write notes and comments in margins. So you know in your notes, the notes that you jot things into, there is a margin. There's a place where there's a rule that you're not expected to write on. But man, you can make use of that margin to jot down important points or even ask questions and clarity. By the time you see it on the margin, you can easily spotlight it, and then you can deal with the problem that you are faced with on that particular subject. Make connections to prior knowledge. So I've talked about underlining. What is the main idea of this text? What are the key supporting details? How does this relate to my life or other subjects? So maybe some of us on the call, we're studying a particular subject, and then year one, year two, you're so tired, you're feeling like, why am I even in this course? Why am I in this department? Why am I studying this course? How does it relate to my life? Am I enjoying it? So these are the questions you need to ask yourself, because this goes a long way to determine your success in life. If you're doing what you don't like doing, if there's every possibility that you may not make it doing that thing. Then the last one is active reading strategy. Purposely read with a goal in mind. Have it that you want to read this line and you want to get it and you want to understand the concept that is in that particular topic or subject. I've said you should use headings, use subheadings. So for me, when I recall that when I was in school, undergraduate and postgraduate, I usually use three pens: green, red, and black. So my red is for topics. My green is for subtopics. And then my black is to write the notes. So once I see, I can easily identify, okay, this is a topic, this is a subtopic, these are the notes under it. So you can also adopt what works for you. Identify the challenges that you are faced with when you are reading. Everyone on this call, at every point in time, have one difficulty or another. And I agree that we are not all equal. You can just pick a book, few minutes to the exam, and you open it, and the next thing you understand the concept. Some, if you take them 2-3 hours, 1 week to grab the concept of that particular topic. And that's why I said, understand yourself. You need to really know what works for you and go for it. The next one I want to talk about, a lot of us are guilty of this. The era of social media, when you just want to quickly check something, and the next, some of you will say, I'm reading with phone. I'm reading with a tab, I'm reading with a laptop. I'm not saying you cannot read with a phone. I'm not saying you cannot read with a laptop or a tab. but you know that it is possible that distractions will come. Recently, I think about a week ago, I was preparing for an international exam, and as I was reading online using my phone, looking at videos and all, a message pop up, and from there I landed on TikTok, landed on Instagram. At the end of the day, I ended up spending 45 good minutes scrolling on the street of the internet, making money for people that are already rich. Because many of us we keep buying data, checking everybody's status. We want to see what is going on WhatsApp statuses. I know some of us are guilty. And I had to do what is called changing the setting of my phone. I now set all my social media platforms to 10 minutes per day. 10 good minutes per day. Such that once it's 10 minutes, I don't want to know what else I am doing. Once it's 10 minutes per day, my phone will shut down, that I won't be able to access that site again, except I go and change the settings. So you need to be intentional. For you to be successful, you need to be intentional. I'm an educator. And the popular thing is people believe, oh, educators are not rich, educators are just ordinary people. I decided that I want to be an educator with a difference. And that is why, and how do I do that? Setting smart goals. Also be intentional with the way I invest my time. Thank you, Christy. Christy says, time management helps me well. Coach FBK says, making money for those already rich. Exactly. You don't know that the time you spend on internet, on Facebook, on TikTok, you are propagating the views of those already rich people, and we are making them to make more money. How can you yourself begin to make content that can promote, that you can make money for yourself? And that is why you need to be intentional. You don't just want to buy data, and at the end of the day, you have wasted the whole data, not using it on anything meaningful. What is your biggest time waster when it's time to read? For me, it's social media. And I've been able to control that to some extent. And that's why it comes with intentionality. You need to be intentional. Now, how then do you do that? Avoid procrastination. When I was preparing for this slide, I came across the Pomodoro technique. This technique, it's all about you saying it's a technique promoting a method for staying focused and mentally fresh when you are studying. So there's a link that I put up to this slide. You can go over it, go on what's it called, on YouTube, and then search for Pomodoro technique of studying. You would see that if you follow that technique step by step, you will not have fatigue, you will not be bored, you will not be distracted when it is time to read. Now, how do you help yourself? Number one, pick a task. You want to study a particular subject today, you want to study a particular topic, set a timer. For instance, if it's 30 minutes you want to spend, set 30 minutes. Any distraction that comes within that 30 minutes, ensure you don't attend to it. Work on your task until the task is done. Then after the task, you can now face the distraction. You cannot attend to it. You can take a break. And during that break time, you can attend to every other distractions that come your way. Every 4 Pomodoros, every 4 tasks that you have done takes a longer 15 to 30 minutes break. What is that saying? If you have read, ensure you have taken break. You take break before you pick the next task so that you can digest, you can assimilate, you can understand what you have read. So this is a link to that Pomodoro reading methods, and then you can, by the time the slides are shared, you can have access to the link. Then the next one is use planner or digital calendar. Yes, this morning, I don't think there's any day I don't work with calendar, digital calendar, reminders, alarm. If that works for you, please do. If you say you want to read and you end up sleeping, then you should know you need to be disciplined enough, such that when the alarm rings, you need to stand up on your feet and then go do what you have set to do for that particular day. Having said that, you don't just want to achieve all the academic success and you are not healthy in your lifestyle. So how do I mean? We can't rule out the fact that we need maximum sleep. You can see the image displayed on the screen. Pets kept on jumping all around that man sleeping, and he is not bothered. That is to tell you that even when you are sleeping, it is not a time to be scrolling and listening to music. It is not a time to be, some will say they sleep better listening to music. If that works for you, it's fine. But if you want to have a maximum sleep, you need to really focus on your sleep. remove every form of distraction when you are studying. Okay, Jesuleke says, I come out confused and have to check the internet and now use Pomodoro to study. Fantastic. All right. So Christy says, I do that all the time. It doesn't help me. What do you do, please? Can you be more specific? All right. Shobanjo says, like YouTube. YouTube is a distraction for her. May Summer says, thank you so much for the link. Welcome. Thank you for joining. All right. So I haven't said that I won't be able to sleep. You know, when is it when you listen to music, Amos? Please be specific. All right. Thank you, Coach FCBK. Pomodoro is so good. We need discipline, though. Yes, that's the word, discipline. Basil says Pomodoro technique is a lifesaver. Thank you for saying that. All right. So if you are sleeping, ensure that you are sleeping. This is not the time to be flipping through your phone. Some will say they are resting, and then they are still flipping through their phones. You may be physically on the bed, physically putting your head on the table, but mentally your brain is not resting. And that is not rest. When you are resting, when you are sleeping, your brain should sleep. Everything about you should rest because you need to refuel for the next day. So I haven't said that. Then we said healthy lifestyle is very, very important. We've asked, what then is your biggest time waster when it's time to read? You know, is it visiting? Is it that time you remember, oh, there's this trending news. Let me quickly go and check. You can't spend 10 minutes on the internet. It's a lie, especially on TikTok. You will keep flipping through the TikTok pages, and before you know it, you will use the end of the day on TikTok and even waste your data. What you are using, I'm not saying you shouldn't go on the internet. Set a time frame for yourself. Oh, I want to go to social media and spend so time, and be disciplined. Use a timer. Once the timer rings, withdraw from social. It's not easy, but when you take a step, one step at a time, and you're doing it gradually, it comes easy. Aim for at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Ensure adequate rest and recovery. And let me quickly say this. I remember when I was in school, far back 12, 13 years, or even 15 years ago now, when I went for study, there was this guy, a colleague of mine, that during the exam hall, he just screamed and shouted, and he started misbehaving. And by the time we started asking what went wrong, they took him to the hospital and they discovered that he was not mentally stable. His colleague, who happened to also be his roommate, said, this guy doesn't sleep, that he wastes his time when it's not exam period. But once it's 3-4 days to exam, he starts cramming, reading all through in the night, putting legs inside water, taking caffeine, taking all kinds of things just to stay awake. And that affected him. Till date, that guy is a patient in one of the mental hospitals that treats mental health issues, that have mental health issues, and they treat it. You don't want your case to be like that, because you will use drug all through your life. Because you don't want to be mentally derailed, that's why you need to sleep. You need to take maximum rest. Support physical and mental health. Also ensure you have a bedtime routine. What do I mean? For some of us, of late, for like 3 weeks now, I'm guilty of this. I've not been sleeping the same time I'm meant to sleep. So bedroom routine means bedtime routine. You sleep maybe 8 in the night, you wake up 5 a.m. Or yours is 10 in the night and you sleep 10 p.m. you wake up 4 a.m. Don't sleep 8 p.m. today and wake up 3 a.m. tomorrow. Then you sleep 10 p.m. tomorrow. When you're not consistent, it doesn't help you. Because you need to develop a calming pre-sleep routine. Avoid screen and stimulants when you want to go to bed. Some of you does not sleep except you use drugs. It is not ideal. You need to find a way to desist from that habit. Create a sleep conducive environment. Yes, you don't sleep on a table and chair. That is not a conducive environment to sleep. You sleep on a bed, sleep on a flat surface to allow your body to relax and also calm down. Also, you need to stick to a consistent, I've said that, sleep schedule. So, and then for some, they sleep in a dark environment. Some sleep where there's light. For me, I can sleep in any of those two. Whether you on the light or you turn off the light, I can sleep. But also ensure you avoid healthy meals at night. So many of us are guilty of this. We eat in the night. So Sunday says, I think another time waster is sleep. When it to get edified through reading, then comes the indiscipline. Yes, sleep is another time waster. Some people use social media for positive things, man. We can also use it to read through distractions, no distractions. Yeah, Shobanjo, I agree with you. Social media is a blessing, but as much as it's a blessing, it is also a curse. And that the balance is what makes it beautiful. Uzo says, for those of us working and schooling, we don't get to have up to 6 hours of sleep. All right, so even if you don't get to have up to 6 hours of sleep, if yours is 5 hours, ensure it's consistent and you don't allow anything to stop you from sleeping. Uya says, earth is hard. Yes, I agree with you. There is nothing that is good that comes easy, but you just need to keep going, keep getting it. Emma says, I easily get tired on TikTok. Okay. Juliet agrees that social media is a time waster. Social media is a time waster and causes a lot of. So Christy says, at my sleep is consistent. Fantastic. Thank you so much for saying your sleep is consistent. So without wasting our time, we have 8 more minutes to go and we are rounding up. So what then do we need to do? I haven't said that. We've talked about healthy sleeping pattern, study environment. Some of you will say you are studying and there's so much distraction. I still used to ask people, how do you study in an environment that's so much distraction? Look at the image on the screen. He's studying, even studying all alone, but his brain is thinking of so many things. And if you look at his face, he's not smiling, he's not finding it funny, and that will come with a lot of fatigue. Do we do that? Do we find ourselves in that kind of situation? So when that situation comes, I bet you just need to stop reading and rest. Because no matter what you put on that brain, you will just keep reading a line 24/7 and you may not grab what you are reading. So what then do we need to do? Read in a quiet, well-lit environment. Some of you read in the dark. Oh, you say, oh, this is Nigeria. But please, also remember that it may affect your sight. Reading with a phone, a very tiny phone light, touch light. Please ensure where you are reading is well-lit, distraction-free. So I understand that some universities have a lot of distractions, but I still want to believe that there are environments that you can read that would not have distractions. So for you, if night reading works, go for it. If early day reading works, go for it. Whatever works for you, ensure you do it. Then you need to turn on phone notifications. When we started this session, my phone just kept on buzzing. I had to turn it off. Because you will want to check what is buzzing on your phone, what notification dropped on your phone. So you need to turn off every phone notification when you are studying. Then keep only study materials on your desk. Don't include any other material that you are not studying with, so that it won't give you a wrong vibe. You will not be tired and say, what's all these materials? All right, Amos says he likes to read, Amos Bukola, she likes to read alone. Yes, I put my phone on dead when I want to study, especially if I want to do research. That is academic Matthias. That is awesome. So having said that, we want to ensure that we need to seek help when necessary. Don't struggle alone. Ask for help when you need it. Who can you ask for help from? I don't want to agree that all lecturers are evil. I don't want to agree that all teachers are evil, because some of them want to see you succeed. Just this morning, I was flipping through the internet and I saw a video of a lecturer where students were celebrating him on his birthday. You need to see that atmosphere. And that tells a lot of stories. It tells that, oh, this lecturer is accommodating, he's fun to be with, he listens, you know. So identify those lecturers that listens to you and talk to them. Identify the teachers that listen. It might not even be your teacher that teach you in school. Anyone you can easily connect with, identify them and connect with them, talk to them. Also, we have some classmates that listens, you know, that form study groups and peer-to-peer learning that will help you. I remember I have some students that they have study groups and they know their areas of weaknesses and strength. Some are good in math, some are good in sciences. I have them on the call. I've seen some of them on the call now, you know. And what do? They form study groups. You will handle this subject, chemistry. You will handle math. You will handle geography. You will handle economics. You will handle accounts. So you cannot be all around good in all cases. If you want to assume that, oh, you must be good, it's fine. It's fine to aspire. But you also need to remember that in doing that, you need to seek for support. If you need to do tutorials, you need to also go into it. There are university students that do tutorials, even secondary school students, junior secondary school students that do tutorials, so as to serve as a support for them. And thanks to the digital world, Google, YouTube, AI. Let me quickly speak of generative AIs, all this artificial intelligence. I tell students, you need to, because you are in the university, you are an undergraduate. Some of you have school. Some of you are going into your secondary school from junior secondary. You need to know how to balance the use of generative AI. So I was telling somebody yesterday, I can easily tell if you use an AI when you do an assignment. Some of my students can relate. They're on this call today. You know, how then do you use an AI constructively? If you look at ChatGPT, for instance, I don't use ChatGPT. I think I started using it back 2 or 3 days ago. I didn't even know it has developed that much, you know. And I now opened ChatGPT. I was doing a research. I now the microphone button. What was I doing? I started speaking to ChatGPT. I said, I am an educator. I want to speak to children of ages so and so, university and undergraduate. I want the class to be engaging. I want it to be interactive. I want them to easily be able to connect and then give me this that can help them understand this subject area. And then I sent it. To my amazement, ChatGPT gave me amazing response. This is different from somebody saying you go on ChatGPT and just type effective study habits for secondary school students and undergraduates. If that is what you did, you have limited yourself, you know, and that will limit the result that it gives you. So learn to engage using all these generative AIs in a constructive way. You need to ask for help. I've said that before. Remember, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's not a sign of, it's a sign of strength. It is not a sign of weakness. I'll repeat that. Asking for help is a sign of strength and not weakness. So by the time you understand that, you need to stay motivated. Stay motivated. So that every day when you wake up, you keep seeing that goal and you keep reading it, you keep prophesying, you keep, you know, there's what we call, there's this word that it kind of a chant. You keep chanting it. I want to be the best mechanical engineer. I want to be in the world. It's possible. We see people doing well and they are from Africa. They are from Nigeria. So you keep saying that. Build confidence. If there is anything I will tell you in this life, you need confidence. Because if you are good, if you are beautiful, if you are interesting, if you are successful, people that are not confident, they will be behind. So what am I saying in essence? Kingsley, I say your hand raised. During questions, you will answer your question. Overcome every obstacle. We've talked about all this, and then I want to see you going higher. How do you manage stress? You know, stop using all these collars, whatever it is that you are using that is helping you reduce stress. Meditate. If your own is to chant, do meditations, take a break. You know, take a break, feed well, eat good food. To eat good food or fruits is not expensive. If it is 1 banana per day, 1 apple per day, people say an apple a day takes you away from the doctor. If that is what you need to do, do it. Poor time management can lead to increased stress. Effective stress management can improve time management. So in all you do, learn to reduce your stress. We've talked about this, avoid digital distractions. We've talked about it. And then, in conclusion, be consistent in your efforts to academic success. Develop good study habits and time management skills. Seek help when need be. Manage stress because you don't want to start having high blood pressure at a young age. Believe in yourself and in your ability. I understand that there are some of us that we came from homes where they don't see anything good in us. Believe in yourself. It is what you see of yourself that others will, you know, see in you and talk about you. So believe in yourself. Stay focused and committed to your goals. Then always celebrate your progress. How then do you celebrate your progress? Put it online. Put it on social media. Let people see you are doing well. There's a guy that I follow these days. His name is Victor Ashaka. That young guy, a public school student, is excelling well in his field right now. He has been to several countries on fully funded trips. What is he doing? He's making use of opportunities and working on it to solve solutions in the environmental space. Look for your area of interest. Do what makes you happy. Do what gives you joy, and then you see that you do well in it. Having said that, I have come to the end of this session. I don't know if dearest finance coach will give us opportunity to ask questions so that we can be able. Yes, Basil said the best motivator is yourself. Great. Thank you. Uzoro said this was very impactful. Thank you so much for that wonderful feedback. I really appreciate. All right. Thank you, Ma. I'm done. But I don't know if they can ask questions.
Yes, they can. Thank you so much. Please, let's celebrate.
Okay,
let's celebrate Coach Martha in the chat box. We have some questions. We'll let you take some drops of water to cool and calm your throat. And we come back to you.
Thank you, Ma. All right.
Thank you so much. I did not expect anything less than you've done. I'm so grateful on behalf of the participants, because these things that you share with us, I think this is the second or third year you're doing this now. Is this third? Second year?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. So these things, yes, some people pay for this. And not only are you sharing the tips, you're sharing practical, examples from your own personal experience. And I love that the audience were, very, they were following you. The conversation was very interactive. I was so excited when I saw Promodoro. I'm like, oh yeah, that's something I use as well. And everything you said is very, is relatable because, I might be a finance coach, but I'm also still studying, for some professionals and stuff like that. So it relates to everybody. And I'm happy that we were able to stream your session to Facebook, because we couldn't stream my session, the first module, to Facebook. Thank you so much, Coach Martha. You do so much. You're also volunteer with the Railboat Dream Solid Foundation, and your support with the foundation is very much appreciated and recognized. Yes, we have so many friends around the call. Let's see if we can take the questions. Did you see the questions in the Q&A box already? I think maybe while you rest your voice, I can take the first question because it relates to Module 1.
All right, ma.
Okay, and it comes from Rabilu Yassir Saleh. I hope you did put where you're joining us from in the chat box, apart from your question. If you didn't, please go to the chat box and kindly put where you joined us from and your age. And he says, what practical steps can students take to build strong saving habits despite inflation and rising costs of living in Nigeria? I do hope that Mr. Lowe is here around the call to add a perspective if he can. But I would start from the budgeting thing that I talked about. Decide you're a student, decide where your inflow, your cash is coming from. The money, you might not be working for it, but as far as we understand, it's your income, where the money is coming from. How much are you getting? Build a budget. What do you need to spend on a weekly, monthly basis? And I'm asking you to do that because in the things that you're putting into your budget, you might be able to identify things that you can do away with, that you can sacrifice. Now, it's not all about sacrifice because some essentials might not even fall within what you can afford, right? The necessities, the money that you need for that might also not be enough. But I tell you, bulk purchases, cost saving, there are so many ways you can learn to save money. Of course, you don't want to compromise cleanliness and stuff like that, but your fashion, your beauty habits, and I'm not saying the necessities, your beauty habits, can you save money from your beauty habits? Can you save money? When I was in school so many years ago, I bet people around the call, most of the students were not born. We would do bulk cooking. I don't know what does that, if that happens these days. I know that people eat out a lot. What's your eating out habits? Do you cook and store? Do you collaborate with maybe a roommate or somebody and say, let's join forces and cook together. Because those are the things that take and consume a student's money. Coach Mata talked so much about social media habits. And indeed, I don't know who put a comment there that says social media is a blessing, absolute blessing. But how are you managing that? Do you have a budget for your data? Or do you just keep, spending, keep topping up? So for a student, there are very many practical ways that you can, you can save money, you can reduce your expenses. Of course, well, you're not going to eat your fingers, you will eat. Do you look for, do you have friends that maybe go to where food is cheaper and you all come together, put money together and somebody travels or goes to these places to buy food, maybe once a month? They're cheap. And I know that there's so many service providers online who sell from, other areas. If, for example, you're living in Lagos, outside the vicinity of Lagos where food is expensive, and they do food sharing. Some people order food to get a food store from outside of Lagos. And these are just examples. I don't know where Rabili's college or university is, but there are different ways. And those are the things that come readily to my mind. The fashion bit, and I know that you won't eat your fingers, you have to eat, but things are expensive. That's why I started from when I said earlier on that we are not unaware of what's happening now in Nigeria. So there are different ways. And of course, you can't compromise cleanliness. You won't say because you want to save costs now, you won't wash your clothing anymore and all of that. So it's application of the ESI model, even as a student. You'll have an allowance that you're getting from home, but even looking what you're a student, what can you do to earn more to be able to meet your expenses as a student, right? I've been looking for, one of my friends recently retired, and she said she wanted a personal assistant. She wanted an administrative assistant, an administrative assistant that could support her in, pivoting from paid employment to the new role she was taking on. I know I reached out to people to give me resumes of people who can do this work. This is not administrative support work for executives. It's not something you need any elaborate qualification for. It's just building skills and making yourself available for these things. I have friends and people that I mentor who live in Nigeria, but are offering services to people who live abroad. Yes, it may stretch you a bit because sometimes you have to be awake in certain periods to do these things. So what I'm saying, Rabilu, is that you can save costs, you can manage your expenses by using the budgeting tool, you can do bulk purchases, you can do bulk cooking. I'm just thinking, because life as a student for me has been some years, but I'm just from my coaching experience, what can Rabilu do better? You can bulk purchase, you can reduce how you eat out, and then you can take on assignments. You can take on opportunities to earn till you qualify and get out of school. There's so many opportunities. And for people who were not part of our 2023, the workshop, please go to our YouTube page. We got Teju Babyface as our guest speaker for 2023. Teju used to be in Nigeria, but now lives between Nigeria and America. And we had a 1 hour plus session with him where he elaborated and said to people, wherever you are on the surface of this earth, you can earn dollars. It was very eye-opening. We also had a session, I think last year, where we had side hustle. We had 1 hour dedicated to side hustle. I think I took that session. Go and look at it. Listen to these conversations. Ask yourself questions. What can I do? I have a friend who lives in Canada. She couldn't get lesson teachers, or maybe not that she couldn't get, but they are quite pricey. There was a day she was looking for me up and down just to, support her with Zoom link. And I'm like, what's happening? She said, oh, my children need to start lessons. Guess what? The teacher is in Nigeria. So there's so many things you can do as a student. And I would encourage you, in addition to, reducing your expenses and using your budget to manage your expenses, to also look at what you can earn. Remember, what you earn is yours. Your parents are not going to take that from you, and it doesn't mean they're going to reduce what they're giving to you. What can you do? What can you do? Many people are looking for support to improve reading, their editorial. Some people just want research. They just want research. They want someone to be able to research to keep their brand alive. So if you're not lazy and not being derogatory here. I mean, I'm just saying, if you're very open, you can think of something to do. Yes, things are hard, expenses are going up. I mean, cost prices are rising, but we can also do things smarter and better, which is why we're having this conversation, to ginger people and encourage people that, look, you cannot sit on the sofa and expect things to change. You have to take action. You have to do certain things. Look beyond your immediate environment. I know people who have special needs children who just need tutors to maybe read with them. And even for spiritual things, some parents are so busy these days, they need coaches, they need people to guide their children in the things of the faith. Yes, things of the faith. You can do that, you work, and then people even pay you for that. So let's talk, Rabilu. If you still want more explanation, send us an email. We can talk, we can brainstorm, we can look at your specific circumstances and then see what you can do. Oh yeah, Rabilu is still on the call. Thank you very much. Now, over to you, Coach.
All right, ma'am.
Matthew, please, Mark, can you also talk a little about reading and listening to music at the same time?
Okay. Thank you so much, Ma. So I want to know who asked the question so that I can call the person by name. The
name is Jerry Matthew.
Okay, Jerry Matthew. Thank you for that question. Recall when we were speaking the other time, I said, do what works for you. Okay, so I used to remember a time in which when I read, I listen to music, but my system changed after a while. I couldn't cope with it too anymore. And it depends on the kind of music anyway. We have all sorts of music these days. Some music's on its own are distractions. For me, when all what you listen to as a music does not...
You're muted.
Vibing.
Okay.
Can you hear me, ma?
Yes, we can now.
Okay, so I was saying that I used to read and listen to music, but at a particular time, my system changed and I could not read listening to music again. Of course, personally, I have generic music I listen to. I don't just listen to all sorts of music. So the question is, like I said, do what works for you. I agree that some will say they can't read where there is no music, but the music doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't have to be, taking over all the atmosphere, such that even people try speaking to you to get your attention on something, they can't even speak to you because the music has taken over all the environment. So what am I saying in essence? Do what works for you. The fact that, so I won't say no, you cannot read with music. I'm not that kind of educator. I'm not a rigid person. All what I keep saying is do what works for you. If you can read, then when I read with my music on my AirPod, if I ask me anything I've read, I would digest it. Some will say it's not possible. Then I tell them, no, I'm not you. I am different. I am me. I'm not what works for you. I hope I've answered that question.
Thank you so much, Coach
All
Mata.
right, Jerry, thank you. So if that's what works for you, do it. You're welcome, man.
Thank you. There's another question. Shoban just says, my question is about reading late at night. Is it okay?
Okay. All right, so late night reading, I will advise that if you must do late night reading, you should take enough rest in the day. So you don't want to, walk all through the day and then read at night. You are stressing your brain. So before you can read in the night, you must have taken some time to sleep during the day. So for me, when I was in the uni, I usually do night reading. We go to the school premises, we read, of course, with some other people. It worked. But of course, during evenings, I would have taken enough sleep, minimum of 4 hours sleep without distraction. You need to rest. Remember, I said your brain needs rest. So you don't want to read and achieve all the successes, and at the end of the day, you are not mentally or physically fit. So please ensure that when you are doing a night reading, you must have taken adequate rest for that day. so that you can assimilate well. And it doesn't make any sense going out through to the university to read, and you get there, all you do is to sleep. You have deprived yourself of your comfort, you have deprived yourself of time, you have deprived yourself of all other leisure things you do. So please ensure, if you must do night reading, you have taken enough rest. I hope that is clear.
Thank you so much, Coach. There are so many questions, yes, but you know, we do have an evening session. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. I can, ma'am.
Okay, Dorcas, I'm sure everybody can see it as well. So I just want to quickly announce that this evening, we will be having we will not be having Model 3, which should have been the next one after Coach Mata's session. So we would go on straight to Model 4 at 4 p.m. Nigerian time today. And Doctor, it's my pleasure to address him this way because last year he was still working on his PhD. But we will be having Dr. Pastor, wow, Dr. Ayodeji Ebo talking to us on investing made simple for young adults. Now, Dr. Ayodeji Ebo is our go-to person when it comes, or one of our go-to persons when it comes to investments. But he will be coming this evening to talk to us for 1 hour, excuse me, and he will be talking everything about investing in the current economy and breaking it down for our young people, young participants. And then to wrap up today's models and then also the session for the young adults, we have Dr. Titus Udom. He's the founder of Innovation Academy UK. He has his own program like this that they do annually in the UK. And it's a paid service. It's paid for over there, but he's going to be talking to us for free today at 5 o'clock, and he will be talking about compound interest and wealth creation. I want everybody who's been with us this morning to make our time and join us this evening. Remember that we still have day 2 and day 3. Day 2, we have tomorrow at 4 p.m. We have Shayo talking to us about debt management and how to use borrowing to create wealth. And the session with Engineer Niyi is going to be very interesting tomorrow because he's bringing a special guest. He's bringing Mrs. Bolanle Tayo-Ojo to come speak to us about her experience, how she's an engineer in an oil and gas company in the daytime, and then still has a side hustle that is making money for her. And I want everyone to key in, and we do this just once a year, and make sure you make the most of this event. We have Dr. Charity talking to us on Sunday. Dr. Charity will be talking to us on how to buy yourself, start stock investing and make money. Her testimony is something else. I just don't want to, it's not something I want to put out here, but she's told me how one can make and grow wealth just by picking stocks yourself. Now, Dr. Theo Buffini will be teaching us how to preserve this wealth that we have created. And that will all be on Sunday. And then it's a wrap for the year. We are very grateful. I'm still going to come and take the questions. I just wanted people to understand what's happening. We have sponsors this year, Cardinal Stone. We're so grateful. They're encouraging our participants to start their investment journey. And we have so many prizes. For the students, we have a first prize, a second prize, and a third prize, as you can see on my screen. But the star prize for this year is a 500,000 Naira prize for someone's side hustle, as Mr. Peter Olowu explained earlier on. This will be the star prize. And I think he gave the conditions. We're going to put a flyer on the conditions that he spoke about. I'll put it on the pages, on our Facebook page. We'll put it on our Instagram as well, so that you understand what you need to do to be able to aim for this prize. So this is a star prize, but there are consolation prizes for 5 people that Mr. Olowu himself is sponsoring. He's sponsoring 2 people, and I'm so grateful to him. So we have consolation prizes for people's side hustle. So yes, I'll come back to the questions. I just wanted to let you know that we will be looking forward to having you join us at 4 p.m. today. We have a 4 to 5, we have a 5 to 6. Okay, so quickly, let me take the remaining questions. We can't take all the questions, Coach Mata. What I would say is, can you please send an email can you put your email in the chat box, Coach Mata?
Okay, ma'am.
And you can sign and copy, if you're sending your questions to Coach Martha, please copy financecoachtoday@gmail.com or copy financecoachbk@gmail.com. Now, if we don't answer your question and you posted a question here, please do send your question to Coach Martha's email, copying my email. Now, this has to do with money, but so it's not for, I really don't know how to save money this further, my brother. Okay, I want to take questions that have to do with academics. Okay, so Coach Martha, Shobanjo says, please, Maya, is it good? I know you talked about it. You already said it's not good, but I want, probably when the person hears you speaking directly to them. Please, Maya, is it good to cram what you're reading? And also a day to exam, that's when I start reading. There are two parts to this question. This person needs special personalized coaching. And at the risk of not taking, other people's time, the person may need to come to you one-on-one because this part 2 is so big. How can you start reading a day to exam? What are you doing? Are you bathing children? So please, Ma, is it good to cram when you're reading? And also a day to exam is when I start reading. If you take this question, then, because I want people to be able to come back in the evening, so we can't take all the questions. I like it when it's interactive, but we just can't take all the questions. So can you please answer Shobanjo quickly? And if you need to have Shobanjo one-on-one with Shobanjo later, please, that may have to happen. So don't take too much time.
All right, Coach. All right, thank you. That's our chief coach. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the privilege. All right, so Shobanjo, the first, I would start from the second question. It's a no-no for me to start reading a day to exam. He who plans to fail, who fails to plan, is planning to fail.
Absolutely.
So if you don't do early preparations for things, you will end up flopping, failing. And I'm sure that for every student on this call, you are expecting great results. You want something you want to be proud of. Just a few minutes before the start of this session, finance coach Ma, I'm sure you would remember Ruth Jacob, one of those students that is benefiting from the Railboat scholarship. And she forwarded CGPA to me, and I saw 4.49, and I'm like, wow, she's in year 2, and I keep telling her she can actually make that first class. So she was on first class in year 1, but she said she had some difficulties in some subject, and I told her she should keep doing it. So back to what I was saying, I personally coach Ruth. And I do tell her then that if you want to read and excel and shine, you need to pay the price. As a matter of fact, she stays with me. I told her, I said, write down the grades you want to have in your WAEC. And I teach her biology in school. I was a biology teacher then.
And she wrote B, Coach Martha, subject. God will reward you.
And she wrote B for my subject. And I asked her, why did you write B? He said, it was when you started teaching me biology, I started loving that subject. I did not like it. So let me just have a B. Guess what? That exact way she wrote down those grades was exactly what she got in her exam. And everybody was wowed. And she got the highest, the overall best student in the whole of Education District 4, Lagos State, in the year 2023. And that brought her Railboat scholarship. Finance coach Komolafe, she and some other board of trustees gave her the privilege she's on fully funded scholarship. And this is an indigent student, and I keep telling people, it is not your environment that should determine your success. You need to put in so much. So reading a day to exam is a no-no. If that is the habit you have found yourself in, you need to rediscover yourself. And I think we need to really have a one-on-one discussion. Then the next question that says, is it good to cram and pour? Of course, if you cram and pour, it
says he reads all the time, but he only understands it a day before.
Okay, he said he understands it a day before. Well, I think you also need a mental shift, a mind shift. I think you've conditioned yourself to that particular situation. You need to rediscover the way you want to be assimilating. Because truth be told, Most times you see people now go to exam hall and they go blank. And you wouldn't want to start messing yourself up, asking questions in the exam. And when you are caught, you know, that is the end of your academic session in that school. So you wouldn't want to find yourself in that situation. And that is why for every student that knows me on this call knows that I preach against examination malpractice. You cannot be a star living on an examination malpractice habit. In fact, thanks to the era of social media, people will be the one to even blacklist you and say, this one, we know him or her when he was in school. He achieved this result through examination malpractice, and that's why you need to be intentional. Change your orientation. Learn to study early. If you try all those methods I've mentioned during the training, using mind map, highlighting the key points in your study, you know, syncing it, memorizing it, turning it into songs, if that will work for you, you will learn to assimilate better. Then that lacram lapo, I would try and tell you I would discourage you from it, because it is because the Nigerian education system has not really advanced. What do I mean? If you are asked application questions in the exam hall, if you cram, you won't be able to do that. You won't be able to answer that question and correctly, because you've crammed the theoretical. You can't apply it. And that is why we have a lot of graduates that are not employable these days. So someone can't go far cramming and pouring. You need to internalize it. You need to understand what you are reading, and you need to apply it to your everyday life. Thank you very much, ma. So I would advise, I can see so many people laughing.
Yeah, because there are so many questions in the Q&A box, and I just don't know where to start. Please, if you put a question there, kindly send it to us by email. Honestly, I really want to deal with some of these questions. I'm hoping that you people are just having fun with these questions, because if it's real, it's I don't know what to say about them. Amos Bukola, how can I start investing? How can I do without what I'm used to? I want you to please attend the sessions this evening. It's deliberate that I advertised them earlier on. For one, for you to be eligible for the prizes, you have to attend all modules. Now, the questions on investing will be answered. And if after the session, you think you have not been answered well, my DM is always open. I'm always happy to answer questions. And when you come to me on Instagram or Facebook and I see that you're serious, I normally would give you my WhatsApp number to reach out to me, and then I start coaching you and guiding you privately. So please reach out. Feel free to reach out to me on some online, and I would be happy to help you out. But we would have answers to most of these questions, except for the academic and the study questions that I've asked that you direct to Coach Mata. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We just have 2 minutes to be 30 minutes over time. It shows that it's an exciting event, and I do thank Coach Mata, all the students that are around the call, and for making yourself available. I'm going to just play a message from our sponsors again, and then it will be a wrap for now. Please remember to join us at 4 p.m. Nigerian time for this evening's session. These are things that we're bringing to you free, because my partners are choosing to teach for free. Please make sure that it's worth their time. And even if it's only one person whose life changes, we're grateful to God for it. But we do know that every person who participates in these programs, is setting themselves up for progress and success. Thank you so much, Coach Mata. I'm just going to play this now, and then please stay on if you want to stay on. After the sponsor's message, I will be acknowledging presence of people that are on the call. Thank you all so much.